Shemai Paul, Kimida Hashiv. Genki desu. Welcome to my LingQ kingdom. My name is Carl, and I am learning Kamidaig, Gaelic, and Nihongo. I wanted to give y'all an update on the channel and what my language learning goals are for this year, because things have changed a little bit, and as I continue to learn my target languages, my goals are also, shifting and changing. So let's start with Welsh. I feel like my Welsh has actually gone down a bit. I used to be doing it more, especially before we had the baby last year. You can even watch a video where I did a placement test for Welsh in Glossica. You can watch that right up here. You can see where it actually put me. But because I haven't been doing Welsh as much since we've had the baby and our schedule has changed and things like that, I feel like my Welsh has actually regressed a little bit. And unfortunately, I think Welsh will continue to have to be on the back burner for right now just because of the constraints of my time that I have. Right now, I still am doing some Welsh, but it's normally only on the weekends. If I have some spare time, I'll try to do that. So my goal for this year with Welsh is just to kind of maintain what I've got. And there's actually a children's book that I've got, and I'll put a picture of it right here. I've got a children's book that I tried to read through once with my baby. I could sound out most of the words, but I couldn't understand much of what I was reading. So by the end of the year, I'd love to be able to read that book and feel confident that I'm pronouncing everything correctly and that I can actually understand most of what I'm reading. So that's my goal for Welsh. It's really just maintain. Now let's go on to Gaelic. So Gaelic, I feel like I'm starting to really get the hang of. I think I'm starting to get to the territory where I'm moving closer to the B1 level, kind of the lower intermediate level. I'm still in A2 right now, but because I've gone further in Duolingo and I've been able to make some progress in Gaelic Foundations, Jason's course, which highly recommend. You can get a link to it if you want to check out the course. Link down in the description. If you're serious about learning Gaelic, definitely should get that course. You can't get fluent just by doing Duolingo, okay? I still feel like I'm not progressing as fast as I'd like to. I am trying to use my Gaelic every day when I have the baby in the morning, when it's just me and the little guy. I try to only speak to him in Gaelic. And sometimes I try to use that time to also do some learning as well, sometimes so that he can hear it and listen to it, so it's not just, he's getting some input not just from me, but also, from some other sources as well. It's still tricky since me being able to teach my son Gaelic is totally dependent upon how much Gaelic I have. And so that's going to be my goal for this year, is to try to make it up to that B1 level. And in order to do that, I'm going to have to finish Jason's course and also, if I can, get his intermediate course as well. And if you're an intermediate learner, you're already ready for that, then I've got a link down for that below. Or if you want to just get both courses at once, you're like, you know what, I'm committed, I'm going to get both of them at once, do it. You can pay monthly. I, on the one hand, am feeling like I'm getting more comfortable with Gaelic. I'm starting to get better at the spelling. I'm getting better at kind of speaking extemporaneously. I'm not having to I'm not having to rely as much upon kind of stock phrases that I've memorized. I can actually kind of rearrange the sentences, the words in the sentence, and make new sentences a bit more confidently. So that's good. I'm learning more vocabulary, so I can actually, describe everything that I'm doing with my son. Femimi coffee. Hamiageri ushkiche. Ushkiche ansen kora jelain. Han muka akam. Ansen mienef haum. Han muka che anish. I'm able to kind of describe things in the morning routine. But definitely still a work in progress. Focusing more on Gaelic this year so that I can be able to speak to him more and more in Gaelic, especially as he gets older. He's going to turn 1 year old this summer, and so that's when he'll once he's a year old, he'll actually start speaking. And so I want to be able to give him as much input as I can. Slanja. And finally, we'll move on to Japanese. Japanese had also been kind of on the back burner. I was still doing it a little bit every day during the weekdays for work, since learning Japanese is related to my professional goals for my day job. One of our parent companies is a Japanese company. But that has now escalated since I found out this year I might be sent to Japan for some work projects. It wouldn't be for very long. It would only be for a few weeks probably. But the fact that that has become a bit more real and a bit more impending kind of has given me more motivation to do Japanese more every day and to really step up my learning pace. I've still been keeping up with Duolingo. You can watch up here. I took a Japanese test on Duolingo to see if I could skip ahead to the next section. I did better than I expected, actually, as far as learning more vocabulary and being more comfortable with the grammar. That's something that I want to be able to do. And so my goal for that is to be able to finish the course that I've been taking in Japanese, which is story learning. And so if you are learning Japanese and you want to learn Japanese through the power of story and not just, with Duolingo or flashcards or something like that, once again, links down below. This course has been really helpful, but it's definitely a lot. Japanese to me is so much harder than Gaelic or Welsh. And to make all of this even more difficult is the fact that I'm trying to do them all at once, which is why I'm having to kind of prioritize these languages. I can't do them, I can't spend hours a day just learning languages. I would like to, but gotta, pick and choose. It's like, okay, I can do 15 or 30 minutes of this in the morning, and then I can do 30 or 45 minutes of this in the afternoon, and, I can just do what I can do. Just to recap, A1 in Welsh, I'd like to try to maintain that and be able to read that children's book by the end of the year. A2 in Gaelic, I'm starting to feel more confident in Gaelic, and I want to be able to push forward with that so that when my son starts speaking, I can, be able to give him even more fluent sounding, native-like input. So I want to try to get up to a B1 level with Gaelic and finish my Gaelic Foundations course and then get the next one. And finally with Japanese, since I might be going to Japan for work, I need to really push with that, finish my story learning course with Japanese, and be able to take my A2 level Japanese up to B1 as well. So those are my goals for this year for my languages, and I would love to know down in the comments what your language goals are for the languages that you're learning, especially if you're learning one of the same languages that I am. Mash that like button if you want to encourage me in my language learning, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Marchen leave.